Good morning, children. Today we will study the first part of the lesson, the Mauryan Empire. In this part, we will study the rise of the Mauryas, sources for reconstructions for the age of the Mauryas, that is, literary sources such as Megasthenes accounts, Kautilya's Arthashastra, Mudra Rakshasa, Jain and Buddhist text. In the archaeological sources, we will study Ashoka's edicts and the Sanchi Stupa. In the political history of the Mauryas, we will study about the Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara and Ashoka. Then we will study about the Battle of Kalinga and its impact. So children, let us begin. The rise of the Mauryas. The invasion of India by Alexander the Great introduced a new fact to Indian history. After defeating King Porus in 326 BC, he had planned to cross the river Ravi, Chenab and Beas, but retreated as his troops rebelled. In 325 BC, Alexander left India and died in Babylon. It is said that the Nanda rulers of North and Eastern India, Dhanananda, insulted Chanakya, who vowed to avenge the insult by bringing about the destruction of the Nanda. Chanakya trained and inspired Chandragupta to free the northwest India from Greek rule and to overthrow the Nandas. It was at this juncture that Chandragupta Maurya founded the most powerful Mauryan Empire in 324 BC by removing the Nandas. The glory of the Mauryan Empire was maintained and preserved by his successor Bindusara. However, it was Bindusara's son Ashoka who brought the brightest period in the Mauryan Empire and Indian history. Sources for reconstruction of the age of the Mauryas. The sources for the reconstructions of the Mauryan era are literary sources and archaeological sources. Literary sources. Megasthenes' account. Megasthenes was a Greek historian who lived as an ambassador of Seleucus Nicator in the court of Chandragupta Maurya for 5 years. He wrote a book, Indica, in which he has given a detailed description of Mauryan administration and Indian society in the 4th century BC. Kautilya's Arthashastra. The Arthashastra by Kautilya, who also known as Chanakya, the chief advisor of Chandragupta Maurya, is an extremely detailed treatise on statecraft. In his book, he has given a detailed account of the contemporary social, political and economic condition prevailing in the country at that time. It further enunciates the duties of the king and ministers, principles of interstate relations and suggests a way to win a war. Mudra Rakshasa, the political drama written by Vishaka Datta in the 5th century CE, is another important work of the Mauryan period. In this book, we get a glimpse of the social, economic and religious life of the people of those days. Jain and Buddhist text. From the Jain text, we come to know as to how Chandragupta Maurya forward the end of his reign, embraced Jainism and abdicated his throne. Similarly, Buddhist texts provide us with valuable information about Ashoka and the steps taken by him for the spread of his faith. Archaeological sources. Ashokan edicts. An edict is a decree issued by a king The edicts of Ashoka form a very important source of the Mauryan history. These edicts are inscribed on rocks and pillars throughout the country and include 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and a number of minor rock edicts. The inscription of these edicts in Prakrit language describe Ashoka's ideals and his belief in the Buddhist concept of Dhamma and his efforts to develop the Dhamma throughout the country and about the history of the Mauryan in general. Sanchi Stupa. A stupa represents the spiritual body of the Buddha, containing the relics such as hair, teeth, or bones. A casket containing these relics is placed at the base of the stupa. Sanchi Stupa was built around 3rd century BCE by Ashoka at Sanchi, near Bhopal in MP. It has 4 gateways with carved panels depicting events from Buddha's life and Jataka's tales. Political history of the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya founded the Mauryan Empire. Before he came to power, Magad was ruled by the Nanda. It is said that after Kautilya was dismissed from the service of the Nanda, he met young Chandragupta and trained him in the art of warfare and governance, so that they could together destroy the Nanda. After Alexander had left, Chandragupta gathered a small army, captured Punjab and drove the Greeks out. After strengthening his position in Punjab, he raised a powerful army and defeated the last king of the Nanda dynasty at Magad in 321 BC and declared Patliputra to be his capital. Chandragupta's empire was a vast one. It stretched up to Kandahar and Kabul in the northwest, to Mysore towards the south, and from western Saurashtra to the eastern region of Bengal. After a region of 24 years, he embraced Jainism and handed over the throne to his son Bindusara. Gupta's son Bindusara succeeded his father to the throne and continued to rule for 21 years till 273 BC. He is known to have followed in the footsteps of his father and was given the term slayer of foes by a Greek historian. Bindusara maintained friendly relations with the Greeks and exchanged ambassadors with Antonio Chaos, the successor of Seleucus. Ashoka the Great was the third and the most popular of the Mauryan kings. He ruled the Indian subcontinent from 269 to 232 BC. Ashoka's achievement started from an early age. When he served as governor of Ujjain and Takshila during Bindusara's rule, he crushed a revolt in Takshila. On finally ascending the throne, Ashoka took the title of Priyadarshi or Piyadasi, meaning the beautiful one, and a Devanama Priya or the beloved of gods. The Battle of Kalinga. The conquest of Kalinga by Ashoka was perhaps the most important event of his reign. The main reasons which led to Ashoka to fight for Kalinga was that it was the only kingdom which was not under Mauryan control. It was controlled by the Nandas. Another reason was that it was important from military point of view, as it controlled the land and the sea routes to South India and Southeast Asia. Ashoka attacked and conquered Kalinga after a fierce battle. However, The war caused huge losses on both sides, a fact that is inscribed in Rock Edit 13. It was declared in the edit that in this epic battle around 150,000 peoples were taken captive. 1 lakh were killed and innumerable people suffered due to a famine and the other misfortunes. Impact of the Battle of Kalinga. Death and destructions in Kalinga made Ashoka sad and unhappy. It became a turning point in his life and he became the first monarch in the world history to abandon the path of war and violence. For the next 30 years that he ruled, he never went to war and became an ardent follower of the Buddha. Thereafter, he gave up his ambitions of Digvijay or a victory in all directions and persuaded a policy of Dhamavijay. Ashoka started taking keen interest in Buddhist literature and used his resources and power to spread the teachings of Buddhism in India and abroad. After embracing Buddhism, Ashoka went on pilgrimage and built about 84,000 stupas and monasteries. The prosperity of his people became the ultimate goal in his life. Okay, children, I will advise you to go through the topics studied today from your textbook also. I will also advise you to do the question and answers in your history exercise copy related to these topics. Have a good day.